I call it the so-called charm offensive because you don't seem particularly charmed. You wrote that outreach is always positive, but then you wrote you had heard it all before, saying it's going to take more than dinner dates and phone calls from the president. So were those dinners and meetings a good thing, or did it make no difference at all?
Well, it's always a good thing to engage in more conversation, engage more members in the conversation that have not been involved up to this point. But when you get down to the bottom line, the president believes that we have to have more taxes from the American people. We're not going to get very far. If the president doesn't believe that the goal ought to be to balance the budget over the next 10 years, I'm not sure we're going to get very far. And this is the whole issue. We have a spending problem here in Washington, and it's time to solve the problem.
Where's your trust level with the president? I mean, you're talking about these meetings as if they really didn't mean much.
No, the president and I, as I've made very clear, have a very good relationship. We're open with each other, we're honest with each other, but we're trying to bridge some big differences.
So, do you trust President Obama?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. There's no issue there.
Listen to what President Obama told George Stephanopoulos about the debt this week.
We've already cut $2.7 trillion out of the deficit. If the sequester stays in, you've got over $3.5 trillion of deficit reduction already. And so we don't have an immediate crisis in terms of debt. In fact, for the next 10 years, it's going to be in a sustainable place.
Is he right that we don't have an immediate crisis?
We do not have an immediate debt crisis. But we all know that we have one looming. And we have one looming because we have entitlement programs that are not sustainable in their current form. They're going to go bankrupt.
How long do we have to solve our problems?
Nobody knows where this is. It could be a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. It's not an immediate problem, but we can all...
So you agree with the president on that?
Yes, but his point, as he went on to say in that interview, is that we don't really need to do anything at this point. And I would argue that we do need to do something.
Well,
the American people know you can't continue to spend money that you don't have. And that's what the president wants to do. The president also said in that interview that his goal wasn't merely to balance the budget. He talks about a balanced plan. What's balanced about a budget that never gets to balance?
Let's take a listen to exactly what President Obama said about balancing the budget.
No. We're not going to balance the budget in 10 years. My goal is not to chase a balanced budget just for the sake of balance. My goal is how do we grow the economy, put people back to work, and if we do that, we're going to be bringing in more revenue. If we've controlled spending and we've got a smart entitlement package, then potentially what you have is balance.
A quick response to that.
That's exactly the point. Balancing the budget will, in fact, help our economy. It'll help create jobs in our country, get our economy going again, and put more people back to work. The fact that the government continues to spend more than $1 trillion every year that it doesn't have scares investors, scares business people, makes them less willing to hire people.